Hey, what's going on? So, I have a video today about fasting. Now, the first thing that I want to say that people do wrong is that they separate the spiritual cleansing from the physical cleansing. The true meaning of fasting was to align the spirit with God. Now, most people think of fasting in a form of vanity, about getting their weight down and looking their best. But that still is something that true fasting will not only accomplish, but set you free from the anxiety of constantly worrying about your vanity. Now, fasting is to reset the mind from the flesh and reset it to the spirit. And this comes to redefine the purpose of life. I'm going to get to that later. Now, it also calms the emotion and unproductive energy draining thoughts. Those thoughts that just keep you tired and worrisome. Those thoughts that are just lingering in your head about what someone said to you or just useless thoughts. Because we know that the things that we can change, we are already changing. The things that we cannot change, we must rely in the spirit to extract that which is spiritual from that experience. Now, the things that energy drain us the most are worry, fear, hate, forgiveness, and anger. Now, worry, Jesus said, don't worry about your life, what you shall eat, what you shall drink. He was speaking of the material things of life. He wanted you to focus on your spirit, because when you align your spirit back to God, all of those things will actually come into place. And when you don't have them, they'll be beneficial for why you don't have them. We all need to be humbled sometimes. And sometimes when we're deprived of something, it gives us clarity, not only to appreciate it, but to eliminate that which is in our way that is causing us to lack. Fear. The only thing that we should fear is God. He's the one who keeps you here. He's the one that determines whether you're alive to spend money, to get anything out of life. And even in that fear, it should cause you to appear to his love. The fact that you have been given grace to seek him, to seek out wisdom from him, to know him. There is no fear that we should have of this world or of these things, because we cannot control when we die. That is already set. All we can control is how we live and what we live for. And then when we're aligned to live correctly, there is no fear. Hate. Well, this is a no-brainer. Hating people causes so much grief, so much pain, so much bitterness, so much energy draining. You're giving so much energy to people whose main goal is to keep them on your mind. Let them go. God will deal with your enemies. God will provide vengeance for those who do evil against you. You just pray to not fall under the same wrath and punishment that your enemies will fall under for disobeying God. Unforgiveness. Again, this goes back to hate. If you want God to forgive you, then forgive others. See people who are evil as blind. They're only doing all that they know to do because they don't know the one who is true. They don't know the one who is good, to turn away from their ways to find a better way. You just being the one who knows what God and know the better way, you obey the one who controls everything and let God do his job. And that goes for anger. Oftentimes it's just a little patience and a little understanding and compassion will alleviate all anger. Anger is just a reflex of selfishness, of us not getting our way, of us not understanding that we live in a world of free will, of people who have free choice to do what they want. Again, God will deal with those people. So we must cease from unproductive and energy draining habits and behaviors as well. For the drinkers, for the smokers, um, caffeine addicts, eating habits, people who just can't stop eating. All of these things, you know, are what actually fasting will deliver you from. But if you're able to stop, you should stop just by knowing that they're detrimental for you. Okay, so now, oh, and we can't forget lust. Lust. A lot of people, they think lust is as natural as breathing. Oh, I just can't help myself. I can't feel nothing else. But just because they're not aware of their spirit. Lust has a place. Yes, it does. But it should not be an ongoing, consuming thought to the point it leads you to destruction, to the point where nothing else gets done, and to the point where you don't care how and what you do to get it. So, I just wanted to bring up these spiritual things that fasting not only fixes, but we should be aware of during the fast. Now, before we even get to the physical aspect of the fast, the first thing I suggest people to do is to eliminate fake food, refined sugars, refined carbs. All of that stuff has to go. Eat whole foods, foods that are just, you cook. They're not boxed. They're not in no packages. You don't have to mix with water. They're real foods, fruits, vegetables, clean, trusted meat in a limited quantity. Especially before a fast, it's better to not to eat any meat because protein does wear down the kidneys in large quantities. And part of the fast is to cleanse the liver and the kidneys so they can cleanse the body. Now, what I would do, or what I have done, is take a little apple cider vinegar and lemon water the night before I'm going to fast to start the cleansing process of my liver and my kidneys, and just to help my body get into that fat burning state a little faster. Now, and that's if you have fasting, if something already on your immediate radar. Again, avoid all your bad habits. It's very detrimental. And if you want, you can also eat grapes. They're very good to get the lymphatic system going before a fast, to start the elimination of toxins that are in your lymph nodes, and your blood is cleansing your blood. All right. Next thing. Now get plenty of distilled water and Himalayan pink salt. And you need these things because you need electrolytes. Many people are worried about passing out and their brain not functioning because we have to work. It's because they don't realize you do need electrolyte. You do need minerals. Minerals would be natural in water if we had a clean, natural water supply. But since we don't, get distilled water, get a good quality Himalayan pink salt, sprinkle a dash in every bit of water that you drink or in the big gallon and mix it up. You use common sense to get your ratios together. Not a lot, but enough, but not a lot, so that you can get your minerals to keep your brain, your heart, and your muscles functioning, your nervous system alive while you're fasting. Because many people just can't do nothing while they're fasting in today's world. Now, you have to get plenty of sun and do plenty of walking. And make sure that you take deep breaths. Be aware of your breathing. You have to oxygenate your body when you're moving. Most people breathe too shallow and they don't breathe from their diaphragm. And that's not oxygenating their brain or their blood. And it's causing all kinds of oxidative stress in the body. Now, one thing I've understood just when I get past maybe a 1 to 2 day water fast is that immediately I have better vision, I have acute hearing, a powerful sense of smell, and I'm not easily reactive to the negative things that people do, and I usually find more understanding. It's like we don't understand the energy drain that thoughts and emotion negative thoughts and just emotion has on the body. You know, you don't realize that until you eliminate the drug of sugar from your body. See, sugar is that high, that most people need because they use sugar like a drug. It's not really natural in the quantities that we consume in today's world, but it's been, we grew up in it and it's been put in the food and people are just hooked on it. So they don't realize it, but sugar addiction is more powerful than cocaine. And most people live their life based on that high and low of sugar. Now, when you eliminate the sugar and your body's dependent on using sugar for energy on that level, you can feel how much your own thoughts and your emotions actually drain you. And you immediately eliminate those things because your body can afford to just burn energy for nothing. And you start seeing the things that are just not worth the energy and the time. And it makes your life more smooth, more productive, and more calm because you understand that a lot of the things in our life we engage in, we make too much out of, and it drains us. So the spiritual aspect of the fast is the most important part. It's the part that brings your flesh under control. See, the issue is our flesh. Our flesh is what leads us to the bad habits that cause our bodies to break down, for us not to use wisdom, and for us not to research and seek knowledge the way we should, so we can discern our food and our situations and make better choices to avoid the grief of life. And see, this comes from the spiritual discernment. You cannot do this from simply focusing on your vanity. Vanity will actually drive you to be more dependent on your flesh and the things of the flesh, what you eat and how you feel. And all of these things are what lead people. So we have to get away from being led by the flesh and getting led by the spirit. And that's the true purpose of a fast. And once you do that, you will understand that a lot of the issues that actually caused you all of the negative body image things and the negative consequences of life were spiritual issues. So what I also do is I think that before the third day of the fast, I take a little baking soda. And what that does, it gets rid of the uric acid, and it helps to eliminate the acid from the kidneys from chronic high sugar levels and, the acid that comes from eating a lot of protein. So, and once you do all these things, you kind of realize that your body starts to purge. You are going to feel some discomfort because as your body dumps toxins, it has to dump into the blood, and it does drain your organs for a second. But that's why you must drink plenty of water. Walking stimulates the lymphatic system to cause you to flush out these toxins. If you can, it's good to do a sauna or something that causes you to sweat. And again, you must drink plenty of water. And the sweat is a good way to relieve the toxins. And while drinking water, and avoid, just do a water fast. Now, if you're nervous about doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of a water fast, try day first. Just do 1 day. And if you feel uneasy, stop. Keep your good habits. And go back to eating for a while and then try again. And eventually, the first time you do a 3-day water fast and you come through it, that feeling that you get, you will never want to lose. And you will keep the habits with you. And a lot of things that you were addicted to, like candy and alcohol and all of these other bad habits, will start to not feel good to you anymore. Even if you want to do them, they just won't feel good because your body's on a new level of purity where these toxins will have a more detrimental effect. So you have more incentive. Like for me, eating candy just makes me sick. I can't eat a lot of it. I used to love candy. Now I just can't eat a lot of it. So I just want to leave it there, and might do a part 2. So stay tuned. Like, subscribe, share this video, and look forward to more. Peace out.